Go ahead. Welcome back, YouTubers. This is Inland Northwest Native News. I'm Jeff Ferguson, your host.
And I'm your co-host, Margo Hill.
Thank you once again for joining us, and we hope that everybody had a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend. You know, there was some snow and some cold and not a whole lot of places to go, but we hope that you enjoyed it with your loved ones. So.
Hey, we hope all you aunties out there survive Valentine's Day. You know, with my cousin Arnold Lexi making all those auntie memes, I get a little bit worried sometimes, but hopefully you all did just fine.
All right, so you had something that you wanted on your phone that you saw that I thought was kind of an interesting little something for today.
Yeah, there's a workshop today about human trafficking. It's starting at 10 o'clock. So human trafficking fact sheet, frequently asked questions with Bridget Perrier, Perrier. It's on my Facebook page, Margo Lee Hill. You can check it out. It starts at 10 o'clock. So just a shout out for Bridget.
All right. So, yeah. You got something coming up from the Rawhide.
Yeah, just a note, Rawhide Press, the mask update, mass vaccine notice. So COVID-19 vaccine update for the week of February 16th. Wellpinut Service Unit expects 100 prime first doses and 100 booster second doses administered this week. The Wellpinut Clinic is currently scheduling individuals who are essential personnel, anyone over the age of 40, individuals 18 and older with 2 or more high-risk medical conditions, individuals 18 and over in multi-generational households. Also, the active patients at Wellpinut Clinic and folks that reside on the Spokane Indian Reservation, essential personnel working on the Spokane Indian Reservation. So there are no appointments needed. If no appointments are available for this week, you will be placed on a waiting list. So just call and they'll put you on a list. Please remember to bring your COVID-19 card for your booster. That's your second shot. When you go and get your first shot, they give you a card, and then when you bring your card for your second one, they'll mark it off. And they are tentatively scheduling a mass vaccination for February 25th at the powwow grounds. They're hoping to get 300 doses, and this is for the first vaccine only. The booster one follow-up will be March 25th. So they're trying to do a mass vaccination at the powwow grounds. Again, that's open to 18 years and older. Active clinic users for the Dave C. Winecoop Memorial Clinic reside on the Spokane Indian Reservation. Picture ID will be required for that to determine your birth date, residency, and then you can get the booster on March 25th. So good news.
Yeah, and so we were scouring the web trying to find a little more information on some of the other updates on different reservations here in the Inland Northwest, and we'll be happy to share them with you as we get them. But as of now, they're fairly limited, so that's the one we got. Anyhow, moving right along, we have this story coming out of Native American Calling. You know, these guys, they cover a little bit of anything and everything on that show. They do a great job. This one was Courts Back Line 3 Pipeline Construction Despite Risks by Art Hughes. 2 recent court decisions denied efforts by Minnesota tribes and environmental groups to halt the controversial Line 3 replacement project last week. Despite the setback, the chairman of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa says his tribe will not stop fighting the 1,097-mile pipeline project. The Enbridge Energy Pipeline is slated to go across northern Minnesota, carrying crude oil from Alberta, Canada to Superior, Wisconsin. The planned route skirts the Red Lake and White Earth reservations and crosses through the I hope I say this right, Fond du Lac Reservation. The company expects the project to take about 9 months to complete. So we'll leave the link in the comment section below. Again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to chime in. We've got a live feed here, which we can answer some questions. And so we do have a couple of people chiming in this morning, and I wanted to mention real quick, quick shout out. We have been trying to get our subscription rate up, and we are rapidly approaching 450. So we're at 443 now, and happy to have you. It's an honor to be here. We'd like to invite you to join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. We have a new comment here from SJH 667. Now, this is kind of a little bit going in a different direction than the pipeline, but we did want to get this one in. It's a pretty important topic, and I think a lot of people in Indian country have faced things similar to this. I'm Blackfeet. What I'm trying to change is the criteria for enrollment from 1/4 quantum to 1/16 blood quantum or linear descent that other tribes have adopted. And SJH wants to know, what's your guys' thoughts? So my thoughts are very kind of simple. I know it's really a touchy subject because we have so many people that have multiple types of blood, and it's just kind of hard. I'm just as much Kalispel as I am Spokane. I have a little Nimipu in me, and Iroquois, from my understanding. I don't know a whole lot about that, but I know there's just a little bit. So I know it can be challenging because the different tribes' criteria, is kind of up to them.
Yeah, so Jeff, that's a great question, talking about enrollment in blood quantum. It's a little frustrating. We are the only race and ethnicity that has a pedigree, much like dogs and horses, so it's frustrating that that's put upon us. Nevertheless, tribes it can define themselves in their blood quantum. It's in your constitution, typically, or however your tribe is organized. So it's a question that goes to your tribe and your tribal membership. You can bring a petition or get it initiative to get it changed. According to federal guidelines, it's the tribe who defines their enrollment. It's our last vestige of sovereignty, so it's the tribe that makes that decision.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it can drag out. I know some people have been successful in doing things of this nature, adding first-line descendancies and different things to their constitutions and their enrollment. But I also know that some people have been fighting for years, some decades, and are still trying. But it's kind of it's up to each individual tribe. And so, our prayers go out to you. I know it's an uphill battle. I have family that have gone through that, and some are still going through that.
So some of the different variations, Jeff, just to note, like at the Spokane tribe, they count the other Salish tribal blood within our spoken dialect. So that's one way to consider count, because often tribal membership was random. So some whole band of the Spokanes went to the Coeur d'Alene tribe. So when Spokanes look at blood quantum, they keep the Coeur blood, but they look at other tribal blood, Colville and Spokane, Salish Kootenai. We all speak the same, a similar dialect, not the same, but similar. There's different bands within the Colville tribe that speak Insaukshin, but as far as our spoken Salish dialect, Kalispel speak a similar dialect. So it just depends on your tribe, your cultural heritage, your bloodline, all of those things. There are other tribes across the nation that, as long as you can prove lineal descendancy, as the questions reference, like the Cherokee Nation, if you can prove lineal descendant back to the tribe, then you're allowed to be enrolled. But other tribes, they hold it. There's other tribes that go the other way. Hopis and Navajos, you have to be half. And even some tribes say you have to be born and living on the reservation. So it varies very much from each tribe.
Yeah, it does, very much so. I had heard at one point that Cherokees were actually enrolling up to 132nd, which is very, very, well, it's varies so much from what other tribes do.
You have to be able to prove it.
Yeah.
So it's just not anybody. But every tribe can define themselves.
Yeah.
And so you got to work within your tribal process, and hopefully that works out for you.
Yeah. So that's it's a touchy subject, man. I know it's tough, but I think, in the grand scheme of things, I think that's kind of the way, we're set up.
Well, people say it's colonialism. It's a way to breed us out. I'm Irish from my biological father, but grew up on the reservation. I'm Colville and Spokane. More Colville than I'm Spokane, but enrolled Spokane. And then, of course, Coeur d'Alene. My great-grandpa was Coeur d'Alene. So, yeah, it's something we're going to have to think about. All tribes, we continually go with that struggle.
Yeah, and there are people that are full-bloods, but not enough of any one blood to be enrolled in any tribe. And so that's really kind of hard to see too,
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving right along, we have an update from our Coeur d'Alene tribal elder, Irv. He chimed in this morning. Thanks again for joining us. He says, daily infections January 8th, 300,619. As of yesterday, Sunday, February 18th, 63,850 dropped. A drop of 236,769 per day. Since January. Numbers have not been this low since October 15th. And that reminds me, we are all in Washington State. We're all in phase 2 now. I know that southeastern Washington had some errors in their reporting, but they got that fixed. And so Inslee gave us all the phase 2 go-ahead. So if you haven't gone out to eat yet, here's a few places.
The important news.
Yeah. Get out of the house, you need to run down and grab a hamburger. No, I'm just kidding. Irv goes on to say, Bloomberg update, February 14th, in 3:29 p.m. U.S. More Americans have now received at least one dose than have tested positive for the virus since the pandemic began. That's great news. So far, 53.8 million doses have been given, according to a state-by-state tally. In the last week, an average of 1.68 million doses per day were administered. Biden's original goal was 1 million a day. So we may hit that 100 million. I know he was trying to do 100 million people in the first 100 days. So we just might hit that. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Right.
Thanks again for that update, Irv. I know that you use some great sources, and I know you do your research for this stuff. So we just want our listenership to know that Irv's pretty diligent in what he's doing. So we trust his fair judgment in this stuff. So thanks again for chiming in.
Okay.
All right, moving right along.
Yeah, the American Indian Community Center is open. The hours have changed a little bit. The general office hours are Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 5. Food bank hours are Tuesday to Thursday, 8:30 to 5. All AICC offices are closed from 12 to 1 each day for the lunch hour. Please note that they were closed, or they're closed today on President's Day, Monday, February 15th.
And they have not, so they're closed from 12 to 1 for their lunches. So they haven't resumed their elder lunches there yet, but I'm sure they're really looking forward to it because they got that new kitchen down there. Yeah, so, new to them. It should be pretty handy. It's a pretty neat building they moved into, so pretty excited for that. Hopefully they'll get back into the elder lunches here pretty quick. Yeah. I don't know if that's phase 3 or if they can do it in phase 2, but I'm sure they'll update us as soon as they figure it out.
Yeah. Thank you to all the staff at the American Indian Center. I know you guys are out there working on the front line. Same with Native Project and Native Health right here in Spokane, right on the front line, serving folks and serving our communities.
And the River Warriors are serving people on the res. Man.
Yep.
I'm pretty excited about that.
We have formal and informal processes to help our people. Yeah.
And it works exceptionally well, especially in cases like this where we can get stuff out. That's neat. So, moving right along, we have a story about, was a follow-up to our National Archives, and this actually came out of Let's see. This came out of the Seattle Times, but I caught it on the, what is it, the Treaty Tribes. I think this came off their Twitter page. Judge blocks sale and closure of National Archives in Seattle, notes public relation disaster by feds. So this is Eric Lassitis, I think that's how you say it, out of the Seattle Times, a staff reporter. U.S. District Court Judge Coffenauer, is that how you say it? Coffenauer? That's how I would say it. Granted a preliminary injunction Friday morning to stop the sale of the National Archives property in Seattle. Now, if you remember, they had a 5-person panel that didn't take any public input on this and were ready to liquidate, or not necessarily liquidate, excuse me, relocate millions of boxes of archives that were being stored there from all of the tribes in Washington, Idaho, Oregon, Montana, and Alaska. 227 is what we read. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, they were going to send the material off to Kansas. So there's this little known entity that recommended that these archives be shut in Seattle. You know, the board was created in 2016 to find excess federal property. And they decided that they wanted to close our archives here in Seattle. Judge Coffenauer said the feds could have avoided this public relations disaster had they displayed a little sensitivity to folks in the Northwest. And he right out said, he asked if any of these guys were even from the Pacific Northwest. So that was interesting. He said in a week or so, they hope to learn from the Biden administration their position on the archives. And the judge issued a written decision last week. And going forward, said Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson, unless the federal government formally reverses course at some point, we'll be asking for final decisions on the merits of the case. So Bob Ferguson, our Attorney General, along with 29 tribes and other groups, filed a lawsuit in January seeking to declare and the sale of the developers illegal. But the lawsuit that could take a while winds its way through federal courts, prompting the request of a preliminary injunction. So yeah, the judge issued a preliminary injunction on that case and saving the archives for now anyway.
Yeah, for now. So hopefully that'll be something that they'll be able to either and they might be able to work something out with some of the tribes to get some funding to help preserve the building or actually even build a new one.
The hope is that we can get some of that those records digitized. But that's a pretty involved process, so hopefully we get there.
Yeah, and even sometimes when things are digitized, it's not always done in the most efficient ways. I know some of the archives I was able to dive into, we had these massive photo files. Massive. You could make billboards out of these things off a little 4x5 photo or a little 5x7 photo, and they just were, they saved them at like 4,000 DPI, which is just huge. You could do pretty much whatever you wanted with them. But anyhow, hopefully we'll be able to see that, and we'll leave the links to that article in the description section. So anyhow, moving right along, we have food distribution. So this is the food distribution of the Umatillas. So food distribution rescheduled for February 18th, 2021 at 11:30 a.m. The CTUIR tribal members, other federally recognized tribal members or families that reside within the CTUIR boundaries. Where at the Longhouse parking lot, cars line up on Confederate Way. The guidelines limit of 2 households per car. Each family or community member must pick up their own food. You must remain in the vehicle while picking up food. Food will only be placed in vehicle trunks or pickup beds, no exceptions. Elders may send a representative to pick up food and sign for their household. We are unable to hold food for individuals and families. It is first come, first serve. If you have any questions, you can contact them at 541-429-7300. There'll be bread, milk, Hill's meat, hot dogs, Heinz meat hamburgers, patties, buns, and more. So,
right.
all right, they got all sorts of stuff, and they'll be distributing on the 18th. Very cool. So, moving right along, we have a story on the Cowlitz, and these guys are. This is pretty exciting. Congratulations to the Cowlitz Tribe. Celebrates 21 years of their federal recognition. Cowlitz Tribe on February 14th is the anniversary of the tribe's federal recognition, and this year marks 21 years since the tribe was able to reclaim their culture and land, which is located in what are known as Clark, Cowlitz, Lewis, and parts of Perce, Skamania, and how do you say that? Waukeakum counties. According to a press release from the tribe, Cowlitz Indians tribe viewed its 2000 federal recognition as a belated acknowledgement of cohesive culture spanning centuries. Without cover of federal status for generations, tribal members overcame tremendous obstacles while holding firm to their remembered past as one of the largest and richest tribes in what is now Washington State, stated the press release. According to the U.S. Department of Interior Indian Affairs, a federally recognized tribe is an American Indian or Alaskan Native tribal entity recognized as having a as having a government-to-government relationship with the United States. A federally recognized tribe can receive funding and services from the BIA and federal benefits while still being self-governed. So this is a step towards, huge step towards their self-governance and recognition. The Cowlitz Indian tribe is managed by an elected council throughout the year. Tribal members participate in cultural events such as a smelt, salmon, and river ceremonies, canoe journeys on major waterways with coastal tribes, and naming ceremonies, healings, and celebrations where members drum and sing. The link for this, again, will be in the description section below. This came off of the TDN.com. And we thank you for posting this. They call it the Daily News website. So that's out of Longview. That's where we found that one.
Good job. Yeah. We always try to cite our sources. We would just want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Erin Maher. She's actually Cowlitz. Erin, shared a little bit, from their tribe and ethnographers. The Cowlitz Tribe means spiritual seekers, those who are seeking spiritual medicine. So we're real pleased to celebrate the 21st anniversary of being re-recognized and congratulate the Cowlitz Tribe on the work they're doing.
Yeah, boy, they have been busy.
Yeah.
They have been doing all sorts of things. I know they had all sorts of planning going on down there for their, their infrastructure and things of that nature. So pipe and pavement. All right, we have you have a really neat story here.
So we just want to give a shout out to Tiana Van Pelt from the Umatilla tribe. She was named to the All-Native American High School academic team. The Confederated Tribes of Umatilla Indian Reservation tribal member Tiana has been named, as I mentioned, to the All-Native High School academic team. The group is selected by the American Indian Graduate Center and is recognized as a cohort of students who have displayed an outstanding original academic, artistic, and leadership endeavor. This year's All-Native American High School academic team exemplifies a dedication to education, and we are delighted to honor and congratulate them for their achievements both in and outside the classroom, said Executive Director Angelique Albert. Yeah. So she said, we are committed to empowering our students through the entire academic journey. They are inspiration and a motivation for the work that we do, and watching them succeed is an indicator of the impact of the organization. So yeah, Van Pelt, who graduated from the Nihya Anawi Community School in 2020, plans to attend and attain a bachelor's degree in chemistry at Oregon State University. Very cool.
Right.
Very cool.
That is very cool. Not as many chemists coming out that I've noticed. It's one of those tougher subjects, and that's neat. I I don't know if I'd try. I don't know if I'd
Chemistry
try.
has both the letters and the numbers, and you got to work them together. So, yeah.
I don't know if I would try that one, but hey, kudos. Congratulations to Tiana. That's awesome. Great to hear. And it's, if you guys have any other upcoming athletes, academics that you'd like us to honor, be sure to let us know. We scour the web to try to find this stuff, and sometimes we don't catch it all, but we're happy to highlight them, especially the ones from the Inland Northwest. And if you know of anybody that is also doing exceptional work, whether it's here or abroad, we have some natives that go abroad and do good things in the Peace Corps or other things too. And some actually go to college abroad, which is kind of cool.
Shout out to my nephew, Kevin Simeon.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Kev.
in Korea getting a master's degree in Korea. He he's like one of these native students. He went to WSU, was an Asian Studies major, went to China for a while, and now he's in Korea getting a master's degree. So shout out Kevin Simeon.
Is that international business? Is that what I think I heard?
I think so. It's an international business program. I don't know all the details of his program, but he speaks Chinese, and now he's speaking Korean as well.
Yeah.
And he had to get to a certain level of ability to speak with fluency before he could even be in the program. So I think it was like a full year that he was working on his Korean language skills.
Getting into that program was a journey for him. I know he had a lot of due diligence and legwork he had to do, and he was out of a big stack. He had a lot of people that were competing against him for that. I remember that. That was pretty neat. Yeah, kudos to Kevin. Also wanted to say kudos to and shout out to Angelique Albert, American Indian Graduate Center. They got some more funding this over the last year or so, but they've been funding undergraduates, and I just think that is awesome when we have programs that are so successful that they can expand even beyond their own title. That's pretty crazy. So anyhow, and then if you have anybody that's interested in going to college, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and I really encourage you and your children or grandchildren, grandbabies or nieces, nephews, or even full adults I encourage you to go out and apply for whatever you can. As Native people, we have a lot of great opportunities ahead of us. So
yeah. I'm hoping to do another workshop on how to apply for scholarships for Native students. Hopefully Jeff here will help me set up and record a video, and we'll get that posted.
Yeah. No problem. Let me know. Let me know. So we have our last story. I think this is the last one of the day. Mm-hmm. So this is about the Lakeside ladies team out there. The Lakeside Lady Knights are a 1A district champions. They are champions and have earned a berth to state. Congrats, ladies. This was on the Facebook page for the Lakeside High School. We also have 4 members of our all SIC league team. Ariana Javier Gore, Ashley Holt, and Kriya Peters were named to the team, and Jalissa Holt was named league co-MVP. Congratulations, ladies, and all the ladies. I have some good pictures here. That's just a heck of a deal. It says, congratulations, ladies, and all the ladies on the girls' team as they head back to state. Information on tickets will be coming up soon, so please keep an eye out. Go Lady Knights on to state. They had some good pictures. There's the big trophy that they give them. I don't know if the medallion came with it, but it'd be pretty cool if it did. There's some of the team members. I don't know. Do you know if she's pictured in this one? Do you know, is there any of these gals? Or this must be all those gals.
A number of Coeur d'Alene tribal members, but I don't know the girls individually. I do know Lavina Louie's daughter, North Star, plays on that team. So they were pretty excited. And we want to say a great job, ladies, but also Lemlem's coach, Chris Dorman, the coach for that team. So thank you, Chris Dorman, for supporting the gals, for pushing them, for challenging them, just for being a great coach.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, congratulations, ladies. So, yeah, again, if you guys have any up-and-coming athletes, any teams, any academics, or anything that elders, if you have any interviews you'd like us to. I know we haven't done any interviews on here since we started doing the morning show, but we're set up to do them. We can do Zoom interviews. We can do, like, Messenger. We can do them on Messenger, on Zoom. I think there's a couple other platforms that we can utilize to do them too. So again, we appreciate you. We're rapidly approaching 450. We encourage you to like and subscribe and tell your friends and family, especially if you have friends and family that are living maybe outside of our region here. I know we've got them in New York now. I heard people chiming in from Florida, down in California too. So that's kind of the idea of this, is to keep them connected to home, give them some informational updates on what's going on up here. And also, we're really getting to a position, I know we're hoping to hit 1,000 subscribers by the time some of these high-speed internet projects that were funded through the COVID money kick in. And that'll allow us to reach some of the more further corners of the reservations. I know the Spokanes have some of those, and I think I heard the Blackfeet had some real good ones going too. But yeah, that'll be neat to see when those projects are finished. So thank you once again for joining us.
You bet. And we just want to say happy Chiefs Day to all of you Ilumikums out there, our chiefs. You know, we give you a hard time. We call you up and chew you out and go to council meetings and tell you off. But we want to say thank you. You know, some of our tribal council are out there on the front lines. They're out. They don't go off the clock. You know, they're working to serve the communities all across the inland Northwest. You know, some of the longest standing council chairmen are in this region, as well as, you know, if you're talking about Glenn Ninema for the Kalispel Tribe, thank you, Glenn. If you're talking about Ron Allen from the Jamestown Sklallam, we shout out, you know, Ron Allen is constantly back in D.C. He's fighting the fight, and we appreciate you, Ron, for all you do for Indian country, whether it's, you know, fighting opioids and pharmaceutical companies, or it's just, you know, getting the COVID dollars out. Ron Allen is one of those chiefs you give a shout out to.
Gaming. So I saw an article. That's funny you brought him up. I saw an article. I didn't really include it because it's more of a regional, and we had some other stuff. But about a week ago, I saw one where the Jamestown Sklallam were actually dropping trees down into one of their waterways over there to create habitat for the salmon. So, you know, fighting for fish, environment, gaming. Ron, he's all over the place, and really, he's neat. I've had the opportunity to meet with him a few times, and he's a neat guy. It was an honor. Another
old timer, long timer, Ernie Stensgar from the Coeur d'Alene Tribe.
Yep, Ernie.
Give a shout out. He served for many years, was you know, best friends with my uncle Bruce Wynn. And so shout out to our chiefs and Ilumikums today, this President's Day.
Melton Askett, man, former president of the National Congress of American Indians, and was mentored by Lucy Covington. You know, he was a chief.
Yeah. Mel did another tour of duty recently, and then just recently was able to retire. So shout out to Melton Askett. All right.
Well, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back on Wednesday at 8 a.m. We did go a little over on time, but again, our hands are raised to you. It's an honor to be here. Lemlemch, and thank you again for joining us.
And we want to say like and subscribe. It's important that we hear from you and let us know what's happening.
All right. See you on Wednesday.